Characterization in this context is simply the creation or construction of a fictional character. There are 5 elements to characterization, or 5 elements to building a character. The acronym PAIRS, P-A-I-R-S, will help you remember. P, physical description. A, actions. I, inner thoughts. R, reactions. S, speech. Who is your character? How do they look? What do they do? What does your character want? How badly do they want it? How does your character go about accomplishing their set objectives? Is your character the protagonist or the antagonist? How does your character drive the story forward? What are your character's characteristics? Are they loud? Hey, what's up? What's up? And boisterous? Or are they shy? Do they speak fluently, or do they stutter? What are your character's peculiarities, if any? Facial expressions, mannerisms, things like that. Think about it. These are the elements that you use to layer whatever character that you're building. If you're lucky and you've been given a character Bible, which is simply a document containing all or some of the answers to the aforementioned questions, then there you go. You have your answers. If you're not provided with a character Bible, then the descriptive notes, always at the top of every scene and also found intermittently as the scene progresses, can answer many of these questions, which is why it is important to pay just as much attention to them as you would the dialogue. If you can't glean much from the descriptive notes, then a detailed conversation with your director is required. Get your character's backstory, as that might give you some insight into their present-day behavior. If there is no backstory, create one based on the information that you do have, which is in your script. What the other characters in the story say and think about your character is also revealing. If it's a character you're not familiar with, research, Google, read books, people watch, aka observation. I cannot emphasize it enough. The amount of material you can gather just by watching people. Incorporate some of their nuances and mannerisms into the characters that you create. Don't just study a profession, study the people that work in the profession. Watch films with similar themes. Say, for instance, you're required to play a homeless person. You can gain a lot of insight by observing someone who is in that same situation over a period of time. Now, the more true to life your portrayal of any given character, the more convincing your performance will be. Once you have a clear understanding of what the story is and where it's going, look at it a bit more deeply. But this time, pay close attention to your character. Now, we all react differently in different situations. Same thing for fictional characters. How do you decide how your character reacts or what they do in any given situation? Now, there are 10 different ways that a scene can play out. Let me say that differently. Give the same scene to 5 different actors and it will play out differently every single time. Therefore, what determines your artistic choices? The answers to the following key questions, 4 in number, will guide you and also help you to develop your character. Objective. What does your character want or hope to achieve by the end of the scene? Obstacle. What's standing in the way of your character getting what he/she wants? Stakes. What happens if your character does not achieve their goal? Note, the bigger the stake/consequence, the harder you work to achieve it, thus making the process more enjoyable to watch. Do. Acting is to do. Decide on 2 things, more if it is required, but please remember, sometimes less is more, that you can do in a scene to achieve your character's objective. Many actors focus on memorizing lines and don't pay attention to why they're saying them, which is why some performances are more convincing than others. If you understand the why, the how will become clear. Now, if you have a clear understanding of and answers to the 4 key questions that we just spoke about, that will help you determine the best choices to make in achieving your character's set objectives, which in turn will determine how your character develops. Read your script over and over and over again. You'll be amazed at how many different nuances that can exist in any one scene. The more you read the script, the greater understanding you have of the flows, the rhythms, and the beats. However, there's a caveat. Until you have had an in-depth and detailed conversation with your director, do not get too attached to anything that you create. Always remain open, flexible, and adaptable to change. A well played out scene between 2 or more actors is one that flows smoothly like a beautifully choreographed dance. Simply put, that's exactly what it is, an intricate balance of give and take. To become a brilliant actor, you must listen to the rhythm and beats within each scene, the moments. As stated several times, even in former models, every scene has them. Moments of emotional highs and lows, moments of tension and conflict. Once you're done prepping and you've decided on your emotional, theatrical, and physical choices, listen as you rehearse the scene with your co-actors. Listen to your opposite. Does that pause or the laying of emphasis on that particular line fit within the rhythm and flow of the scene? Where are the beats? Are your co-actors' choices better than yours? Did they enhance the scene more? What adjustments can you make that can further enhance the scene without weakening your personal performance? Are your artistic choices better than your co-actors? If so, how do you communicate that to them without offending? Sometimes you'll be the aggressor. Your character will have the upper hand. Other times you may be required to play the underdog even as the lead. Terrible is an actor that cannot lend themselves to either or. Now remember, your artistic choices must be the ones that best serves the story. Understanding that the best scene is the one in which everyone is looking good. The believability and authenticity of your character portrayal will 100% be dependent on your ability to convey an emotion or message convincingly via facial expression, movement, body language, or voice modulation. There are some elements that can and will enhance your portrayal, but the emphasis is on the word enhance. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how spectacular the costumes and the set design is. I promise you nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, can hide a bad performance. So this is one area where you're going to have to die to self. It will not always be about looking glamorous. Same thing goes for makeup. Leave that for the red carpet. Your costume will be that which portrays your character best. Sometimes you will be allowed some input. The costumier may seek your advice, then again, maybe not. Make sure that everything you are given to wear fits right and is functional. Try them on. If it's a major production, you may be called in to do costume fittings ahead of time. It's part of your job. Be sure that all fasteners are working as they should to avoid on-cam wardrobe malfunctions. If there is anything you're not comfortable with or you have a suggestion, politely get your message across. Most crew members are open to suggestions, especially when it comes to wardrobe. The idea is to be so comfortable in whatever you're wearing that you totally forget about it while performing, even when wearing costumes that are not so comfortable. Your discomfort must not show unless that discomfort is expressly desired to move the story forward. Costumes can be simple everyday wear, or they can be elaborate, complete with accessories. The more elaborate the costume, the more you should strive to rehearse with them on. The same thing goes for props. Familiarize yourself with the different props that you may be required to use on set. Rehearse with them. If there's something you don't know how to operate, ask, learn, research. If there's a prop on set, use it. That is your business. The word business here simply refers to the activity that a character carries out within a scene. For example, eating, reading, drinking, arranging stuff. It may not necessarily have anything to do with the dialogue, but it adds another layer to character and makes your portrayal more lifelike. Do the things and use the objects that a real person would do and use in the same situation. Be comfortable with your set and interact with your environment. Remember, your objective as an actor is to sink yourself so deeply into a character that the audience forgets that they're watching fiction. Once a production has decided on its final cast, the first thing that's likely to happen is a table read. Now, the name pretty much captures it. All the actors are gathered in one location, usually seated around a table, and though there's no physical acting per se, i.e., no physical movement, the script will be read in character. Table reads are important because this will probably be the first opportunity to meet your fellow cast members. Mingle, get to know them. If there's a character you'll be working with closely, seek them out. Try and create a rapport. All of this will only enhance the on-screen chemistry. This is also an opportunity to hear the director and his vision for the project. This will guide you as you develop your character. Voice